Hola, welcome back to another Spanish lesson with Senor Geis. In this video, we're going to be talking about positive to commands. Commands are when you're telling people to do things. So we're going to learn how to conjugate verbs to form the command form. And we're going to learn how to do this with regular verbs, stem changing verbs, irregular verbs, and reflexive verbs, all in this video. So first of all, like I said before, command is when you tell someone what they should do. A to command is when the person who you're talking to, the person who you're telling to do something is someone you know well and who is younger than you. This is one person. So this is a person you would call tú, an informal singular command, you could also say. So this would be when you're telling people like your brother or a friend or a classmate or a little kid what they should be doing. And when you're telling them something that they should do, when I say positive command, I mean that you're telling them what they should do as opposed to what they should not do. So a positive command would be like, eat your veggies, go to the park, do your homework, or sing us a song. A negative command, which we'll talk about in a different video, would be don't eat your veggies, or don't go to the park, don't do your homework, or don't sing us a song. So for regular verbs, this is actually a really easy thing to do. All you need to do is conjugate the verb in the el, ella, usted form. So if you were telling someone to dance, you would conjugate the word bailar as baila. You could say baila, which means dance. Trabajar, trabaja, work. Comer, come, eat. Correr, corre, run. Escribir, escribe, write, or compartir, comparte, share. So remember, we're always telling people what they should do with these words. With stem changing verbs, it's actually the exact same, only I just want to point out that you need to include the stem change. So if you're telling someone to play, you would include the stem change. You would say juega, play. If you're telling someone to sleep, you would say duerme with the stem change. If you're telling someone to remember, you would say recuerda, remember. Pensar, piensa, think. Empezar, empieza, start. And repetir, repite, repeat. So, irregular verbs. There are 8 irregular verbs when you are telling people what to do with commands. And those verbs you will recognize as other irregular verbs. They are tener, venir, poner, salir, decir, ser, ir, and hacer. For the first 5, there's a pretty easy pattern you can follow. These are all yo-go verbs, so when you conjugate them, they have go at the end. Tengo, vengo, pongo, salgo, digo. These are all go verbs. They end in go. So to create the command form, if you're telling someone they should do these things, you are just going to take off the go. So ten, ven, pon, sal, and di are the command forms. These last 3 you just have to memorize. They don't really have any pattern to them, which is why they're called irregular. So ser is se, be, ir is ve, go, and hacer is as, do. So just to review what these mean, ten would mean have, ven would mean come, pon would mean put, sal would mean leave, di would mean say or tell, se would mean be, ve would mean go, and as would mean do or make. And finally, with reflexive verbs, there are a couple little things that you need to know in addition to what we've already talked about. So to start with a reflexive verb, you're going to remove the reflexive pronoun, and then you're going to put the infinitive of the verb that's left in the command form. Then you need to put an accent on the second syllable from the end of the word. So count back 2 syllables and then add an accent, and then you'll add the word te to the end of the word. So levantarse means to get up. So if you wanted to tell someone, hey, get up, you would first remove the reflexive pronoun, which would be se. So you got levantar, and then you need to put levantar in the command form, which would be levanta. Now we're going to count back 2 syllables and add an accent. So is the last syllable, and then is the second to last syllable. So We count back 2 syllables and we add an accent on that A. Now we're going to add te to the end of the word. Levántate. Get up. Stand up. Sentarse. It is the same thing. So first we're going to remove the reflexive se. Then we're going to put sentar in the command form, which would be sienta, because sentar is a stem changing verb, which is why we put that I in there. Then we're going to count backward 2 syllables and add an accent. 1, 2, add that accent, and add the te back on the end. Siéntate, sit down. And lastly, ponerse means to put on. In this example, there is one little thing that is a little weird, but I'm sure you can figure it out. So first, we're going to follow the rules. Move the reflexive se, poner. We put it in the command form. And if you remember from just a minute ago, poner is an irregular command. So it just turns into pon. And we're going to count back 2 syllables and add an accent. And this is where we run into a problem because pon is 1 syllable. And if we count back 2, there is no second syllable. So what do we do here? Well, honestly, we just ignore that rule and move on with our lives and put the te at the end of the word. Ponte. So ponte el sombrero. Put on your hat. So just to review, regular verbs and stem changing verbs, you just conjugate them in the el, ea, usted form, and you need to include a stem change if it is a stem changing verb. The irregular verbs are ten, ven, pon, sal, di, se, ve, and as. And the reflexive verbs, you need to put that accent on there, and you are going to add the te back on the end of the word after you've finished conjugating it.